In recent past, in the Test series in Australia, Stark warned the South African batters a couple of times. Adam Zampa tried to do the Munkad, but then
The
they
run
said,
out non-striker, George. The run out
yeah,
non. Running out the non-striker backing up. It always triggers debate. So let's debate it, shall we? Because there was a time when an Indian women's cricketer did it to an English batter and it became a culture war on social media. Now the Indian captain had his bowler do it against Sri Lanka and yet withdrew the appeal. So this goes beyond culture perhaps. But why on earth is this such a big deal? What is it about the non-striker being run out backing up? And that is how we will describe it. Unless over the next 10 minutes on ESPN Cricket for Run Order, we actually find a term for this that the ICC will use going forward, right? I know PDP believes he's the pundit on this issue. He calls it RONs. Mr. Bal, you're on your first run order, I think. So you please wait till I introduce you. This is my show. Right. George, Dustin, Sudarshan and Yash, applaud the editor-in-chief for thinking this is a subject big enough to make his own presence heard. Right, Mr. Bal, you are here. May I know why? Why does this topic touch such a chord among cricket fans and whatnot?
I think it all comes down to that two things about it. One is that it's a dismissal that is fairly unique because it's the only dismissal that happens before a ball is bowled.
There's a timed out, but
yeah. I also thought of it, but I wanted him to have it.
Yeah. Cricketers over the years and the cricket community over the years have always thought that this is something underhand and sneaky, whereas it's completely the opposite. It's the batter who is trying to be sneaky, but it's just conditioning that has gone on for years and years and years. Is that cricketers just don't think a wicket is earned this way. It's a bit naive and strange what Rohit did yesterday, because when the world is making a conscious attempt to normalize this mode of dismissal, the Indian captain does exactly the opposite. It was very clear from what he did and what he said after that he didn't consider it normal, or he wasn't comfortable with it.
Contradicts Sambit a little bit in saying that this has always been considered underhanded and sneaky. When you look at the reportage after the original Munkad dismissing Bill Brown dismissal, the overwhelming sentiment was actually one of criticizing Bill Brown, to the extent that he eventually apologized to Vinu Munkad, because it was considered that he was the one who was wrong because he kept leaving his crease. Apparently his batting partner told him that you can't keep doing that. And so there wasn't the same kind of criticism of Vinu Munkad. So something has changed in between where this has been seen as an underhanded or an unethical dismissal.
Okay, how many on the panel here believe that this is a perfect, because the laws say it's a perfectly legitimate form of dismissal, there should be no moral debate on it, it's the kind of thing a number of former cricketers, current cricketers, writers have all expressed? How many on the panel believe there's nothing wrong with it, and therefore what Sambit said, Rohit Sharma should not be withdrawing appeals in such cases? So Darshanan, Dustin, Yash, so it's a four.
No, so I have a little bit of a different opinion. See, I have no problem with the rule. The non-striker, it should be easy for the non-striker to stay in his crease. The problem arises when, like in cases like yesterday, in a low-stakes scenario where an opposition captain clearly revealed that he was uncomfortable in making that appeal and effecting that dismissal. Now, in cases, it sort of shows that no one is taking this rule really seriously all the time. In recent past, in the Test series in Australia, Stark warned the South African batters a couple of times. Adam Zampa tried to do the Munkad, but then even though it was given not out,
the run out non-striker, George. The run out non-striker.
And he said even if it had been given out, he would have withdrawn the appeal. So you can't change people's opinion that quickly. And you might never be able to change people's opinion about this, because most of the time when you're playing cricket, this will not be a form of dismissal. Most people do.
My problem with this is there's a reason that cricketers in only this case even consider withdrawing an appeal, and where they rarely do in any other. And imagine what kind of game we'd have if almost every other ball you'll have a bowler stopping in his follow through or stopping in his delivery stride and trying to run a batter. It'll become a really poor spectacle for the game. Now, is a dismissal, therefore, that's one question, the ideal way to address this? Can it not be better served through either penalty runs if a non-striker is noticed to be a repeat offender? Perhaps the TV umpires can come in. That's one thing. The other is whether we should even allow captains anymore to withdraw appeals. Maybe that will just take care of everything. Stop
Yeah,
having captains withdraw appeals. Right.
Yeah. That I feel very strongly about that, because captain should not have that authority over the umpire to withdraw an appeal.
So my point is that as it stands, the law says that you can do that. It's a legitimate way of dismissal. It's not about changing opinion. It's about that dismissal. So if you say you don't want to do that, or you don't want to take that mode of dismissal into consideration, at no point that dismissal should kind of cross your mind. If India never had the intention of running out a batter in that way, they should never have an option. So if they actually think of opting for that mode, then there should be no withdrawal. So that's my point. I don't care if you believe in that dismissal or if you don't. We take the case of Shanaka being on 98. The match is almost gone from that sense. What if that was a World Cup final? I don't think teams would withdraw. And at this point, it seems that dismissal is a convenient way to kind of finish the match and get a win from close situations. We need more Maeve Dumas, if I may put it that way, than a Deepti Sharma.
When you talk about reducing the spectacle, and if this were to be normalized, it would hamper so much time. I feel that then that's a problem of the non-striker and not the bowler who's affecting it. If a bowler is overstepping constantly, that is also continuing the match, right? But there's a rule which says it's a no ball, and then it has to be delivered again. So similarly, the rule is there. The batter should stay in the crease, and if time is being wasted because bowlers are stopping over and over again, if it gets normalized, it is the batter's responsibility to stay inside. If teams have this problem, if you're looking for a solution, maybe I guess it's better to impose a run penalty, maybe, if the wicket is the big issue and causing this deliberation.
Anybody who believes a fairer way to decide this is a run penalty and not the wicket?
No, I would be more comfortable with that, actually.
With a run penalty?
Yeah, run penalty. But the problem is that I think it'll be very, very extremely difficult to implement.
I think in international cricket, it shouldn't be too hard to enforce because the third umpire watches the front foot for a no ball anyway. So it can be done. It's not impossible. But the problem for run penalties is then at lower levels of cricket, it's impossible to enforce because there are no cameras. So that will be really difficult. But if you want a rule just for international cricket, then I think this will be a more effective way of rooting out this problem, because if you dock 5 runs from the batting side, every time someone steps out of the crease, no one's going to step out of the crease.
If I can just say one thing, that why are we assuming that this won't change over time? I mean, there was a time when bowlers did not bowl bouncers to the tail, and now it's more or less regularized that most teams do it. So why should we assume
there is a limit on it? There is still regulation on it, and by law, you cannot be bowling.
But bowlers will bowl.
It's not competent.
It's also a form of dismissal, unlike all other dismissals. It's something that the bowler or somebody has to appeal. In the sense that LBW, of course, you appeal, but in a catch or a bold or any form of dismissals, it's not, that option is not there whether I should appeal or I shouldn't appeal. The act of batting starts when the ball is bowled. So this happens before that. So it's different in those two senses, that's all.
All in favor of the appeal, at least being something that cannot be taken back. Let's say a bowler's done it, it should stand. Or do we believe that the captain should still have the right to change things up? So I think that makes it even more complicated. Till the law stays, get rid of the captain having to withdraw the appeal, having the power to withdraw the appeal. Mr. Bal has said it. Anyone in disagreement?
No, not in agreement. In agreement. Sorry.
Yeah, everyone agrees with our boss. Well done.
There are cases when withdrawing the appeal, makes a little bit of sense. Like, say, for example, if there's a run out because of a collision and the fielding team breaks the stumps in the heat of the,
Or Dustin just does it because he thinks it's the right thing to do. He's fallen, he's a fool. Yeah, it should be done. Yeah, he couldn't keep his balance. Right. Okay, this debate will linger on, but thank you very much to Sambit Bal, Yash Jha, Sudarshanan, Dustin Salgado and George Binoy. This was ESPN Cricket for Run Order.